What's up, guys? Obviously, the bulls were correct. I'm pretty sure this is a new all-time high in the market. Very tough market to trade still, not for the faint of hearts. I'm still expecting us to most likely have a correction at one point as well into Q4. And then, as I said, I'm expecting a bullish Q4. So I apologize. I was not able to make videos for the past 2 weeks. I was extremely busy, and myself, I had to reevaluate some positions, and I did add some longs that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't even have time because the ones that were undervalued, like AMD, NVDA, there was another name, ANET, I'm going to talk about as well in this video. They basically started running like crazy before I even had time to make my videos. Right after I was basically done buying, I did not even get the chance to get my full position, by the way. And myself, I had to chase at higher levels, especially for AMD. It started running very, very quick. As you guys can see, it's already at 144. So we basically went exactly to the smart layer model level right here, which is at 144, and now we have stopped. So this is how useful some of those indicators can be. And yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, I was buying pretty heavily here, and then I was about to make a video, and then, it started blasting. I was even forced to add a little bit here. I'm up a little bit. My average is not that good, honestly. I'm still expecting $200 for AMD, by the way, at one point. For the next target is 174. You can see it above here based on the smart layer model. If I zoom out, and then of course the all-time highs is at 227, and I do believe we will go there. This has to do with AI chips and data centers. I'm gonna go more in detail afterwards. Very hard market to trade, very fast, not the type of market I was expecting. I personally wanted us to continue, going nowhere for a little while so we could have 3 beautiful years to the upside. It doesn't seem like the market wants to give this to us. So what I'm basically expecting going back to the S&P 500 is at the moment, yes, it does seem that the price action, as you can see, is keeps pushing through the probabilities. So this is very bullish. It's something you see when we're at the start of a new bull market. The thing though is I'm basically expecting this to be short-lived. I think that it will continue grinding to the upside. It's going to go up fast, but it's going to go back down fast as well. That's kind of what I'm expecting at this point. So it's not going to be a market where you want to be cocky. You want to continue doing base hits. That's what I've been doing. Hasn't been a spectacular year. So if you're not making a lot of money in the market this year, it's perfectly normal. Honestly, if you made good money this year and you're outperforming, I'm barely trailing with the market right now, despite the fact that, I pretty much called this entire move down, and I did buy at the bottom in the video, but I did not go heavy enough. So because of that, I am trailing. Basically, I'm like almost at par with the market. I do have some cash and things like that, and some good positions as well, like AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, and things like that. But a very hard market. As you guys can see, Palantir today down almost 10% of the blue. Obviously it's overextended, but it's that type of market where it's really tricky to trade, where some of the big names are up, some other big names are down. And to be honest, my systems work very well, but personally, even with that, I do not have a big edge in this market, being completely honest. I'm just being patient, and I have longs and things where I have high confidence, like Tesla. Told you guys to buy some. Just be patient. Talking about Tesla as well. I believe that Robotaxi was a success. A lot of people are hating, by the way. Wanted to talk about that as well before I forget. A lot of people are hating, but the truth is the way they are launching the Robotaxi is brilliant. And the reason why is because this is done to please regulators. And that's what's most important right now in the beginning phase of the Robotaxi launch. It's not what you or not or I think. It's not about, you know, is it perfect yet? That's not the goal. Obviously the technology is insane. I mean, is it perfect? No, but I do suspect that the market is underpricing how quick Tesla will be able to use AI and look at all the data of the next coming weeks. I think that with the next month, Tesla will most likely have enough data in Austin, Texas, where the improvement is going to be astonishing. That's basically what I'm betting on. And I don't think the market is appreciating that. So the market right now is kind of unsure on Tesla, which I understand because there is a lot of risk with what is going on with the launch of robotaxi. But I do believe that the market is also underpricing how fast Tesla is going to learn from all the small mistakes that they're doing right now. It's not perfect. Sometimes the car, it goes, it's a little bit too far from where you are, if that makes sense. It goes to the street where you're at, but, it will try to park somewhere where it's basically safe. And sometimes it ends up being very far from where you are. But at the same time, when I use Uber, it happens to me all the time. You know what I mean? So a lot of the negative sentiment you're seeing of people kind of bitching about specific thing that are not perfect with the taxis, in my humble opinion, is nonsense. But I do think that Tesla is going to still be able to perfect those little things, which is going to be pretty impressive. For me, those type of stuff are not that important. The rest was kind of flawless, honestly. Little issues with the light of the sun sometimes hitting the camera. This has been reported, so I'm not sure they're gonna fix that. But if not, I mean, the cars are really doing a good job, especially for, like, the beta launch of Robotaxi. So I'm super pumped about it. I just hope that there's no accident, and that's why I'm very happy that they have someone in the car. So as I said, this is made to reassure the regulators that Tesla is, they're slowly scaling, they're doing it the right way. And I believe that right now the market is unsure and is not fully appreciating that. But I think that afterwards, in the next coming months, the market is going to start waking up, especially once you start seeing the crazy progress that I'm expecting basically in the next 6 months. I believe that the next 6 months will be enough data for Tesla to perfection it to the point where haters won't be able to hate anymore, if that makes sense. So, my humble opinion, I'm not expecting crazy fireworks for the price of the Tesla stock for the next 6 months. I'm expecting a range, and I'm expecting it to be the last window of buying opportunity to buy the effing dip of the Tesla stock before they start ramping this. And also Optimus, obviously, apparently Optimus is, they're already adding voice to the robot. They are adding the LLM of Grok inside of the robot as well to basically speak to you and I. I would not be surprised if Optimus becomes a big deal next year, second half of 2026, once Wall Street basically sees the progress and they're like, oh crap, okay, Tesla could technically already start selling those to people for $100,000 as a toy. So I would not be surprised if Tesla does something that crazy. And I know it sounds nuts to say, but if you decide to sell it as a toy, right, there's not that much regulation on that. And I believe that if there's one CEO that's crazy enough to do something like that, it would be Elon Musk. But I do think Optimus is going to be a firework for 2026. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, Bitcoin's going nowhere. Um, I just want to look at let me just look at the weekly time frame. Yeah, so the weekly time frame, you can see, guys, this is when I kind of realize that we're gonna take a break with Bitcoin, right? So you can see, just look at the momentum cloud. It turned blue here, right? And since then, the price has gone nowhere, right? So I was expecting this to maybe start to last longer. Not happening. But if that green cloud comes back, we have room to 124, even 130,000 per Bitcoin in US dollar. So we could go to those ranges if the momentum comes back. All right. But at the moment, looking at altcoins like Solana, Ethereum, nothing's working. It's a very tough market. You can see that Bitcoin is almost at all-time highs, but altcoins are bleeding and nothing is really working. Specific names are working. As I told you guys, AMD, NVDA. I'm also going to talk about NVIDIA is going nowhere, guys. It's most likely going above $200 a share. This is why I bought back. Well, I didn't sell all my NVIDIA, but I did buy back at 130, 140. I even bought back at 150. We're at 157 now. had some call options, did a little bit on those. But yeah, NVIDIA is also cheap based on fundamentals. Most likely will go to very close to $200 per share. But in the same time, I mean, if you're chasing at this level, that's about, what, 20% upside, and you still have a lot of risk to the downside. So it's a tricky market. It's not for the faint of hearts. And then another stock as well, ANET, right? So ANET is still, in my humble opinion, worth buying. Um, you know, I do believe that this stock will go back to all-time highs. ANET is basically another NVIDIA, but it basically does all the switches. So all these ecosystem of switches inside of the infrastructure of data centers, it's an extremely good company. I've been buying up a little bit on it, not that much. So this is why I believe that this one most likely could be one of those stock that, if you're watching my video, might be a good idea to start to nibble a little bit, not financial advice. But, I can't really, you know, tell you guys to buy an AMD, right? Like I mean, the run has been crazy. And even myself, I'm shocked. Like I was not expecting it and I didn't have time to make the video. So anyways, it's pretty much it in the markets. I mean, very like, it's just a tough market. I have been wrong since I've been calling for a mean reversion in the S&P 500 and the broad market. It basically never happened, and it basically kept pushing the probabilities to the upside. But at one point, we will get one. Um, but I'm not expecting us to revisit the lows. I don't think that's plausible, except if something crazy happens. For now, the market is to the upside. We're back in risk on. One of my model basically is back in risk on, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just look at one of yeah, basically, yeah, exactly. So right here, guys, we're back in risk on. So I like to use the monthly time frame, super simple. Let me just get rid of some noise. Yeah, so you can see the cloud right here. I mean, risk on, boom, the month of June. Basically, for now, based on my bigger picture model that I like to use, trend following on the monthly time frame, very simple, has triggered a long signal. So it means we're back in a risk on environment, and the MACD as well, right here. I won't know, it hasn't crossed yet, but when this cross in the same time, I mean, yeah, basically, if you're still bearish, like you're gonna lose on a lot of gains to the upside. But I'm also expecting this to be short-lived, and basically, it's next year. I wouldn't be surprised to see another bear market. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm gonna leave you guys. Oh, before I forget, AI stocks, guys. AI stocks for Q4. All right, so that's the last crumb. AI stocks for Q4. Those were if this continues and we're really in a risk-on environment, which, my model is about to tell me that we are. It has been slow. I'm a little bit disappointed. The market has rebounded really quickly. I mean, kind of sucks. But, if that is the case, you want to be all in AI stocks for Q4 of 2025 and take some profits. I'm telling you, 2026, we're going to have another bear market. Most likely, it's going to be like a sharp drop, kind of like we just had, in April, back in April. So that's pretty much it. Last quote. That's kind of what I'm seeing. I could change my mind. Obviously, not financial advice. Praise the Lord. Amen. God bless you. Stay blessed. See you in the next video.